Hey everyone, this is Show versus Business with Pop Culture meets Pop Money with me, the real Theo Harvey.
And me, Mr. Benja.
What is going on, Mr. Benja? We are live again here on Sunday night, Father's Day. Can you believe it? Bow, 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 bow. Bow, 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 bow.
You know what, man? All I can see is this protest business. That's why I got the protest background going on.
I see, man. I see.
Um,
I was in the middle, man. I know LA, man. Well, first of all, man, are you doing okay? For all the shenanigans going down to LA, it looks like that's ground zero for,
that's
unfortunately, a
that's
lot of
the
crap.
media. That's the media lying and talking a
Okay.
lot of noise because it's really not like out of control everywhere. It's very localized.
Okay, good, good, good. Yeah, I was in Orlando this weekend, and yeah, we were downtown, and that's when they had the protests, and so we saw a lot of folks. Uh, True story. My daughter was at a Stray Kids concert, her first concert ever, so K-pop, and so my wife
Oh
took her,
goodness.
and my 9-year-old and I were walking downtown. And he started getting a little nervous because he saw all these protest signs going around. I said, "Don't worry, man. We're gonna get to the hotel, so you're gonna be okay." But from our window, we can see the cops sitting there waiting, to see if anything pops off. So the protest, we didn't see the whole protest, but we saw people walking toward it, and so part of me was like, "Man, we should just go and support." But I was like, "Yeah, you just don't know how it's gonna pop off when you got your 9-year-old." So I
Yeah,
avoided it.
yeah. My parents took me to a bit of a march once, and that was it. They're like, "All right, rest of them you doing on your own."
Mm.
And they just wanted to take me out to show me, whatever. But yeah, they
Good,
were
good,
like,
good.
it's these are choices you make and all that. And they definitely encouraged it, but it wasn't something they were like, hey, we're not trying to indoctrinate you or whatever in a certain way. You grow up
Mhm.
your way, whatever.
Oh man, your parents are awesome, man. Their philosophies on parenting.
Yeah,
Here, it's up to you, son. Just here's a knife, here's a gun, here's a book. Make your
you know
choice.
the I didn't realize how interesting my parents were until I had a moment. I was so frustrated with school. Right, I wasn't doing bad in school, but I was just frustrated with it at the moment. I was like, God, school, just come on. And my parents came in. It's like, all right, time to get ready for school. You got to go to, do this and do that. All right, let's go. And I'm like, I don't want to go. And they're like, come on, you got to go. And I was like, I don't want to go. And my dad wasn't like, he was chill. He was like, huh, all right. Usually he'd have some way of coercing me or, getting me to move or, he'd walk back in the room with like a screwdriver and, pull the door off the hinges or unhook my computer or something. And I'd get all pissed. But this time he didn't do anything like that. Um, he brought my mom back in and he was like, son, tell your mom what you told me. I was like, I don't want to go to school. And they're like, all right. Well, we're just going to go make breakfast. So in case you do want to go, just, you have like a half hour. And so they left. And then they came back a little while later. And they're like, what are you doing? And I was like, and it was getting weird now because I'm realizing that it's on me, right? It's
Mhm.
not just this little battling back and forth. It's on me. So they're like, so what's it going to be? What are you doing? And I said, well, I don't want to go. My mom was like, okay, why? And they started questioning me. And I was like, well, uh, uh, I think I've learned a good amount, and today just doesn't feel like a good day. And I was a little elementary, little kid logic, right? I don't know what kind of BS I was saying to them, but and then my dad asked a question, my mom asked a question. They're like, okay, well, if you stay home today, we don't want you to waste your time. Learn something, do something, be productive.
I love it.
Just don't waste your time. And I was like, huh. So they packed up and left and said, my mom always said this when she was leaving, just to be funny. She's like, if you cook something, don't burn the house down.
Yep.
And, I just remember that. And they left. And I was like, huh. And I remember cleaning my room and, we had a big shelf on the wall, big library shelf. And I went in there and started reading some books and looking up some stuff. And I think I may have turned on the History Channel or something. And, but, I goofed off, of course.
Of course.
But next day I went back to school and I was like, man, I have a choice. I'm going to go learn something.
Choice.
It was,
Oh,
yeah.
but it's what they call the fallacy of choice. You ever heard that term?
Yes, yes.
So when you, for my speaking training last week, when you say to people, it's like, say yes and yes. Say yes or yes, excuse me. So it's like, oh, which
Uh,
one do I
uh, uh,
choose? So yeah, so
is
your
you
parents
finished or
gave you.
is you done?
Yeah, exactly. So just giving people that sense of control. I think that's important nowadays. I mean, even though we all know we're run by algorithms and habits, you'd be surprised a lot of stuff you do from a habit standpoint is hard to
Yes.
break. And then also the stuff that you watch on the internet is driven by the algorithm. So are we really have self-determination, right? Do we really have free will? In a lot of ways, I would argue probably not as much as we think, unless you're intentional about it, right? I was talking to Dr. Chris. Shout out Dr. Chris.
Yep, yep.
Earlier today, just congratulating each other on Father's Day, and we were both talking about that. I was like, man, people be surprised. These algorithms, man, they just drive so much of your thinking, and I'm really helping my kids be intentional about what they watch. Like, look, yeah, you can watch some of this fun stuff, but like, take a moment and you know, figure out like this is the things that you're going to watch that's going to help you. Like if you're obsessed with my son, obsessed with basketball, sure you can watch Jesser and all these other YouTubers goof off, right? Making
Yeah,
fun of basketball players. Or you can sit down and understand like the mechanics of basketball, understand how to do the pick and roll. So,
yeah,
let's do both. Or my daughter wants to watch all these videos on straight kids and actors and skincare, which is fun. But, why don't you take time and figure out someone who's actually an actor and figuring out how they develop their craft. So just being intentional about their social media
yep,
diet,
yep.
I think is so key. So yeah, they don't teach kids that. Man, school is so behind, man. They need to teach people. Whew, that's why the parents' job is getting so much harder, man. It's just like
Yeah, yeah,
it's just like you got to teach them to do things that you're still struggling with yourself.
yeah, yeah. It's wild out there. I went to my niece. She showed up, and she was spending some time out in San Diego when I was
Hmm.
down in San Diego. So it wasn't a permanent thing. She's like, "Hey, spend some time in San Diego, whatever."
Yeah.
And I ended up picking her up from school one day. They're like, "Hey, Benjamin, we're going out to dinner and this and that, and I'm over here. Can you pick niece up from school?" I'm like, sure. So it's like, yeah, don't worry, you're on the papers and everything, so they'll know it's you and they're expecting you. I'm like, cool. So I show up and I walk up and they're like, "Who are you?" And the kid jumps up, "That's Uncle Benjamin." Like, okay, good. All right, so validated, right? So I signed the paper and all this stuff. And the teacher's like, "Well, we're just finishing up, so you can actually come in the classroom." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I hung out in the back of the classroom. Man, this is the end of the school day. About 10 minutes left. I just wanted to go over there and take that chalk from her hand and be like, "Quiet, fool. Let me tell y'all kids what's really going on." I mean, there was like so much stuff that I just wanted to jump on. And they still had Pluto on the star chart as a planet. And
Mm-mm.
I kind of whispered to her, like, "Hey, why do you still have that as a planet?" And she said, "Oh, because I learned it was a planet and I just think it's better that way."
Oh
And I
no.
was like, "Really?" She's
Oh
like, "Yeah,
no.
I like Pluto." And I'm like, "Yeah, but you have it listed up here with the planets."
I was gonna say, someone else liked to do something, and I always crack up when you tell me that story.
What's that?
Yeah, so man, yeah,
Wait,
man,
hold
it's
on, hold on. What you
just
laughing at? What you laughing at? Put
yeah, you want to put it out there on live, man? Yeah, you
send
just
me a
told me about
private
this
chat
one.
if it's not it. But
Hey man, you told me about this one girl told me that what she liked to do, man. That's all I remember.
oh yeah, yeah, that was funny.
Hey
Wonderful,
guys, if
wonderful
you guys
person.
want to know the uncut version, let us know. We'll give you the uncut
A
version
wonderful
one day.
person, but I'm not going to put her out there like that.
No.
Random things
So
you track back to random people. So
exactly. Even though we're still early stages, but you never know. People gonna go back with AI. They go search back. Oh, you said on June 15th, 2025. But anyway,
hey,
yeah, man, it's one of those things that you gotta be careful what your kids listen to and hear and all that. And it's fine in uh, pieces, but you really want to guide them. And what I'm trying to do is help them with the critical thinking skills, right? Like, what
yeah,
is this or if you hear something, it's something she had said to, what did my daughter said something that was just foolish. I'm like, what are you talking about? So did you do your research? Who's saying that? Where are they based out of? Think through that now before you just assume that what they're saying is totally accurate. Like, for instance, these protests. She was like, oh, they're shutting down, this, we won't be able to get there and it's going to be shut down. I'm like, okay, who's telling you this? Where are you seeing this at? Is it, person saying this on TikTok? Are they, are they there? Are they here in Orlando? Or are they just in another state and they're just assuming that? So
Yeah.
it's just all this misinformation, and I think it's just going to get worse, man. And it's like the separation between the people who the have and have nots are going to get so wide because
Yeah.
there's going to be information. First, it was monetary. Now it's going to be just information, and then the ones who can really think through that and use these tools more effectively to their benefit and not be under them are ones who are going to survive. And so that's why I take my job as a dad seriously, to help my kids think through that a little bit more clearly.
Well, no, you said the right term. You said critical thinking. It's, I mean, I don't want to mix word histories here, but being able to critique and having a criticizing kind of look at this thing. A lot of people, when they say critical thinking, they just get very defensive and skeptical and just want to sit in their corner and not move at all. And I'm like, no, things are moving too fast for you to not move. You need to move, but with a critical eye. And, I think I don't know if any countries really teach that actively, like in a very strong way. I don't know why a country would, from a country control point of view. But.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. Why would they want to teach their populace to think critically? They just, because think about it, the masses, this tale as old as time. The masses, if they really got educated, they could just overthrow governments, right? But by keeping them subjugated, just keeping them under wraps, keeping their minds out thinking, not thinking bigger thoughts, it keeps them docile, right? And so they won't overcome.
Do you know there's this black girl on Instagram, she talks about the Harvard mindset, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she said she didn't realize that it was a mindset because they make it seem so natural. And she was like, no, I started going to other schools and I spent a month with such and such. And I started to realize the thing about a Harvard
Mr. Benja, we're live, Mr. Benja. Let's try this experiment. I just did a Google search. You want to just pull it up? Let's just look at it.
I'm looking for it right now.
I just found it. Yeah. Welcome to the Harvard Mindset series.
It's, analog something.
I don't know her name. Just went to YouTube, said, the series. Now the question is, we're live, everyone, so don't hurt us. But
yes,
we're gonna.
This is her. I am Shay. I am Shay. I am Shay with an O on the end. Shay the historian. Shay. Yeah, that's her.
Shay the historian. Let me see. Let me see if I can share. I don't know. This is not the best. Let's see. Can this pop up? We're gonna try something, guys. We're gonna see.
See, this reminds me of the old radio shows, where stuff would just happen. And that's what made it fun.
Just stuff happens, huh?
I was really fascinated with like the old Howard Stern, where stuff would just happen. Like, cause he was in the NBC studios, and they were like, "Hey, Rob Schneider's in the building." It's like, really? Let's go talk to him. He doesn't like us. Let's go talk to him.
Okay. So I am sharing my screen here, and I'm watching. I see where. I know we're gonna get the infinite screen here for a second. So, can you see my screen? Is this who you're talking about?
Yes, that is her. The Harvard Mindset series.
Can you hear her if I play it?
No, I didn't hear her when she was playing.
Okay, guys, we're doing this raw, so I don't know if you'll be able to hear this. But James, you know what to do, man. Just do what you do. I'm gonna put on closed captions real quick. So if we gotta put it up there, we can. Let's see.
Because if you're new here, I'm Shay. I'm a PhD candidate at Harvard, and I'm the founder of Analog Social. And ever since I took Harvard's Innovation Labs, I've been spending a lot of time at the business school. And if you're not familiar with campus life, the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences, so we're here in the main campus. But to get the business school, cross the river, Charles River. And if you, she keeps going. I'm not going to read it all. This is one of her intro ones. Okay, I remember this.
So she's more introducing it. So what is
In
she?
that one.
Okay. So what is, so yeah, so shout out to Shay. If you want to shout out Show versus Business, we'll appreciate it. But yeah, I can go back to our side. But yeah, I think sorry, yeah, guys, we playing with this. Yeah, so interesting. What is she talking about? So she's talking about crossing the Charles River. Is that because it's a different
Well,
mindset? Because I recently had a chance to go to Harvard with
mhm,
my daughter just walking around the campus, so I kind of got a sense of the geography a little bit more. But
okay.
what is she kind of going into about this Harvard
Well, it's
mindset?
something you start to notice. Like you say, some people are of a certain mindset. You see certain people making certain decisions, and people grow up in different ways. And a lot of times, you just kind of mark it off or mark it up as social differences, cultural differences, or preferences. Oh, they just do this way or this. But all of these little things combined start to build up to a way of thinking and a way of going about things, right? Um, where it's even in terms of just being cordial. It's like in certain circles, you always say, "Hey, make sure that you ask about their family. Make sure that you don't discuss X, Y, and Z unless they bring it up first." They have these certain rules.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone breaks the rules, then they're pushed farther to the end. And if they follow the rules, they're kept closer to the center of the circle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she was saying that she noticed a lot of these things happening in Harvard, where it's like, hey, these people did this and these people did this. And after a while, they would ask a follow up question to this person. And I was like, why did they talk to that person? And it's a good question. It's like, okay, this person's more in line with their values. They're going to ask this person another question, a follow up question. Oh, our families know each other. You know what? Let's go do this business together. And all of a sudden, all these things just start happening in
Mm.
terms of like where people's mindsets come from. And, you know, uh, you can see it very clearly when you go overseas. You'll see how you act differently from other people,
Mm-hmm.
and people act differently towards you. You can see it in, as I said, cultures, cities, states, or whatever. But we were talking about just the mindset of the critical thinking and however else. It's it's something that if you're not conscious about, it's very hard to understand. Like you can't read the if you're the ketchup, it's really hard to read the label on the bottle you're in.
Ooh,
You know,
bar.
it, if you're a fish, it's going to take you a while to figure out that you're in water unless someone shows you the game.
That's deep. We all have limiting beliefs that we don't even know, right? The jar is unscrewed. You're the grasshopper that's sitting in the jar that the lid has already been unscrewed, but you've been so
Yeah,
used to hitting your head
yeah.
for so many years that you don't know you
Stop
can just
jumping.
jump out. So,
Yeah, it's funny because you don't know these boundaries are there, and you don't know the. I mean, you may sense something, but I'm gonna add another guru to the list. Um, Bustamante, Andre Bustamante. You know that guy,
oh yeah, the CIA
Everyday
guy.
Spy.
Yeah,
Yeah. So he's been on that kick for a while,
yeah.
and I don't know how I ended up on his page, but
I mean, he's been out there on podcasts for years and stuff. So,
yeah,
of course, a CI can neither confirm nor deny he
not
worked
yeah.
for them. How convenient.
But we were talking about protest, and I think the first protest where I really started to peel back a lot of stuff was um, Occupy Wall Street.
Hmm.
So I remember going to an Occupy Wall Street protest.
Hmm.
I started asking questions. Man, I thought I was on their side. I asked about 3 or 4 questions. Hey, who are you? Hey, look, man, I'm just saying.
Oh, geez.
I bet you really are from Wall Street. No, no, I'm from Florida. Florida, see, that's the East Coast. Close enough. I'm like, my guy.
My
you
guy.
know?
My guy.
Yeah, man. And yeah, the San Diego Occupy Wall Street group turned against me. And
Oh, wow.
I was like asking questions. And I was like, okay, interesting.
I
And
love it.
there were certain people there kind of riling up the ideas and riling up it's like once you're on a roll in this certain way, this mindset, it's like, don't go against that. And man,
No,
um,
this mindset is powerful, man. I mean, was my training session last week. They had mentioned that you normalize certain thresholds financially, right? You just so used to making X amount of dollars. Like let's say my threshold is $75,000. I'm just so used to that even if I go above that, I'll self correct, or I'll lose the money, or something happens, and I'm
mhm,
always because that's why I feel comfortable. So he says you have to normalize it in your mind. So if you put bigger numbers around. Like, hey, I can make $1 million in a month, right? You just put it around your house, you see it every day, and then it starts to normalize mentally, your mentality, so that you don't self-correct if you do go above that initial, self-imposed kind of structure on you. So things like that, just little tricks that you have to do to kind of normalize difference. And someone made a good point. Like you go to some of these guru events. I was listening to one young lady, shout out crafting with Cassie. I've been checking her out, man. I was impressed, man. I know her from Adam, man, but she got a nice little hustle going on, man. She doing her thug thizzle, man. Shout out to her, man. She may not see this podcast, but she's doing her thing, man. I didn't know her from Adam, but she started the whole crafting business, and then she started going to digital products. She's got masterminds. She's doing her podcast, and
hmm,
literally come from crafting. People doing um, tumblers and graduation posters, just little arts and craft things, right? And she just really blew up. And so I actually listened to her mastermind class, right? She went on for 3 hours, high energy, and she had them women eating at the palm of her hands, man. It was just amazing. So shout out to Cassie, because but I think the way she did is because she pours so much into them. And you
yeah,
can tell that she cares about her audience, and she cares about her community she built. And I think a lot of gurus don't do the same, where they don't really. She says she's actively going into the Facebook groups, right, and listening to them, and then that's why she creates her products. And I was like, man, that's a great feedback loop, right? Understanding what the problems that they have, and then having a solution for those problems before they even know it, because she's listening. And I think
yeah,
that's what's missing from a lot of gurus. They give you these high level stuff, but they don't really know like the tactical stuff that you need right then and there, right? And then if you can kind of get that feedback loop going, then you'll build up a community of thousands of folks that she has, because she's already at 100,000 YouTube subscribers, and I think she just really went all in like this year in 6 months. So it shows you how fast it can go if you really focus in on your community and what they want. So I say all that to say is that is really about that mindset. She taught me that when she went to all these different masterminds and gurus, right? It wasn't so much about what the guru was telling you; it's about the mastermind people in the room. Think about it. If you're in a mastermind group, people are paying that much money to be with these gurus. There's something there. There's a reason why they're there, and so you're
yeah,
connecting with these folks, and you guys are kind of like on the same level, right? Wow, you're learning from the same guy, and you paid this money to do it, so you must be a high. What did what's that guy's name? He did the high net worth individual. You're a high
mhm,
net worth individual, so I need to know you, and we can collaborate. And so now our mindsets are both getting elevated, right? He's like, oh
yeah,
wow,
yeah,
this person is in the same group as me, so I need to learn from them, and they need to learn from me, and so it's almost like you guys are on the same level. And so so I think, to your point, the mindset is driven by normalizing it, and then also being around people that have similar mindsets that where you're trying to go, so that you can kind of get to that next level. So I mean, that's a roundabout way in saying that watch your kids, folks. Make sure they ain't watching crap on
yeah,
YouTube.
yeah, man. Um, it, yeah, there's a lot out there. Um, and by the way, really quick, I want to change gears right quick, just because we're throwing randomness into this mix. Uh, normally I would have been here to record like right away, but I was out doing stuff. Um, I took Sunday as one of my research days, where I just go out and find out what's going on. I went to an empty mall, and there's like two stores open in it, and I'm not sure what they're doing to stay alive, but I think they're going to turn half of it into like a mini auditorium slash community center.
Mm.
That's what it seems like they're doing. But in my research, I can't. I went to a Japanese store. I don't know if you guys know Daiso and the other places like that. There's a little row of Japanese stores out here. Man, I went and got a whole bunch of Japanese candies. And we start with the menthol, hyper menthol, boy. I got the cola flavored candies,
Uh-oh.
and I got this. And you know what all this is for? This whole bag of hard candies. See, I don't like sitting around snacking. I can have one little hard candy and just and be good for like an hour, right? I found I'm getting to that stage where I need to just have things. Anything that slightly throws me off my work game, and then I'm just off my game.
Mm.
And I realized how precious that was. Because like when you're in the flow, when you're in the zone, you're on the bike at 40 miles per hour, and one pebble will send you off into the bushes, with the scraped up leg. You got to have everything kind of just right. So when I'm sitting down writing, banging this stuff out, and I want to get up and do a whole thing, it's like, you know what? Let me have one of these Japanese menthol candies.
Nice.
I'm good. And yeah, man, it's just been all about fixing up and ordering everything. And yes, that's what I was doing today.
No, I love it, man. Just exploring and exploring and seeing what's out there. Yeah, similar, just hanging out with the kids. Father's Day for me. So, well, I think I thought this story where Father's Day is really a time when you get away from your kids, so you can have time for peace. So I was loving it. I found a coffee shop near downtown Orlando
Mm-hmm.
and worked, man. I was like deep into it, man. I was like getting that good work in, man. Where you just like, these ideas are flowing, getting things done. And then my wife and the kids took me to a nice steakhouse. Came on back home, said Happy Father's Day to my dad. And then, yeah, just did some more work, man. So yeah, man, it's like, I guess that tells you, and the thing about work is not work to me. It's more like, man, what more can I do to kind of get to the next level? And I'm learning so much, like I just learned today about like how you can leverage ChatGPT to really understand your ideal customer profile, right? And just
Mm-hmm.
really deep dive into that. Because in the back of my mind, it's like I need to build a community so I can understand more. But is there a faster way? So I'm trying to think through ways of do I buy community, and figure out how to use that, or do I like use ChatGPT to ask it questions to simulate my ideal customer profile. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just fascinating ways to kind of think through, because I do think that's the next level for anybody that's trying to create just content or business in this new AI world. You're going to have to build your own community, and you're going to create experiences. That's just something I came to the realization. And because that's the only way you're going to differentiate from all the slop, the AI slop that's going to be out there, right? If you have a true community that just rocks with you, whatever you put out there, then and that's what Cassandra showed me too. Like the way she built her community, she even said herself in so many words, you can put all these masterminds together, but it's gonna or get people in the community, but over time people fall out. So you gotta always kind of refresh it and give them some new stuff. And the only way you do that is by listening to their new problems and keep refreshing it over time. And so
Yeah.
anyway, make a long story short, I am really going deep into community and trying to understand that. And I think you have a good understanding of that, but I'm really trying to understand that more, for the next phase of what I'm trying to build out. So yeah, man. So yeah, today was good just to kind of rock out and just, brain out, if you will, just
Yeah.
like, ugh.
Do you, so okay, are you more of the mind of bringing your community to where you like to hang out, or going to where the community is and trying to build from there, even if you're unfamiliar with it?
Good point. Right now, because of the business I'm in, I'm not technically, a doctor, but I play one on TV. So it's kind of, I'm not like, what's the I think, what did Russell Brunson call that character? When you create a community, right, you should be I guess the attracting character. That's what he called it.
Okay.
And yeah, I do struggle with that, because what I'm selling into that market, I'm not really, don't have the MD behind my name. So, but I do feel like I have a lot of knowledge to help them build their business.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm kind of leveraging right now. But the future will be for entrepreneurs. And I definitely feel like I could be that, attracting character. And so to your point, I don't have a problem building that, and really being intentional about how I build that community over time, because I think, they're going to, if I can just gel it, to folks that really rock with me and do that, then I can definitely, get that core four, that core
Yeah.
group of folks. They'll just not do whatever you want, but they'll just be really intentional about like how we build something together as I grow it. So that's my vision, but right now I am leveraging the skills to kind of understand how do you grow that within the community I have when it comes to healthcare stuff.
Mhm.
But long term, yes, I would like to do more entrepreneur, just overall entrepreneurial kind of coaching and things.
When you said, did you say core four?
I know. I just said core four. That's just a way for me to remember. Just like I want a core intimate group of folks.
Yeah, no, I get it because there's you, and then there's the four, and y'all come together and knock you out. Yeah,
Yeah,
I get it.
exactly.
I
Yeah.
get it.
Well, four is my favorite number, and it's like to me, it's like the structured, and so if you just get a core four of folks that just rock with you, then you can take that to go to the next level. That's just something I think in the back of my mind. So it
I want to see all
has
the
no basis
numerology
in has no
put in the
basis
comments.
in data or in nothing. I could probably
Yeah,
put in ChatGPT and come up with some basis for it, but
you know
yeah,
what's weird?
man. But
Just opened up Crafting with Cassie's YouTube page, and first thing I see is, "Hey y'all, I'm Cassie, mama of four." Interesting numbers, baby. Uh, but you know what's interesting? I searched for a couple different spellings of Cassie, and a bunch of people with very low subscription and like numbers, and very few number of videos showed up. I'm surprised YouTube search didn't pick up on her first.
hmm, don't know, man. It's weird. I mean, but she's heavily on
No, she's big.
YouTube. Yeah, she's got a school community, like 14,000 there. Yeah, like I said, I didn't know from Adam, man. I just thought she was, hey, how you doing? But man, she's definitely doing her thing, and so I'm definitely learning from her. And so I think I'm supposed to meet up with her again. She's coming back down to Tampa for
You see,
another event.
she's she's had interviews with the Circle of Greatness,
Neo.
Nehemiah Davis,
Hmm.
your girl Donnie Wiggins,
Hmm.
and that guy Omar. So she okay. Now I'm questioning YouTube's algorithm here. I think they're trying to keep black people apart because
Uh oh.
I should have found her.
Oh, don't say it, Mr. Bench. Don't say it. Well, we know they put their thumbs on the scales. Let's be honest. We already know. We already know.
Yeah, and this isn't a left or right thing. I promise you, it comes from both sides, and both sides don't like to hear either side of it.
Exactly. So we
Uh,
already know how they do us, man. So it is what it is. But yeah, she told me she did the interview with Neo and some other stuff. So, but
mhm,
I think what she built. I mean, and she has an amazing story. She went from homeless to multimillionaire, so that's a good story. She's a
mhm,
mompreneur, so she's helping other technically black women really how to create revenue as a mom
mhm.
because she's a mom. So she's very clear on her, it's her basically, 5 years ago. And then when she talks, she's very raw and all that, right? No, it's just like, hey, I'm a girl from around the way. So it's just like everything you want in an attracting character, she nails it to a T. And so it's like, okay. And so I was literally on her call for like 3 hours, just listening to kind of how she presents and all that stuff. And she kept it high energy the whole time. And so I think that's passion
Hmm.
that goes into her community. But yeah, but like I said, met her in person. Wouldn't know from Adam. She was down to earth. Rode in my car. We rode to a couple places. I was here in Tampa. I didn't know who she was, man. But now I was like, okay, I see why you get to that next level. And the question is, I'll tell her to her face too. It's like, hey, what's the next level for you, right? As you kind of, because just like anybody,
Yeah,
they have to expand their brand outside of their initial community, right? And with that comes some challenges, right? How do you expand that brand beyond your initial group? So, but so far so good. I mean, she had a mastermind. She got like 100 people to join her big number mastermind. So I was like, wow. She said about 100 people showed up. So you did back on that. It's about not trying to be in anybody's pockets. I'm not pocket watching, but it was close to about half a mil. So yeah, when you do the numbers, so yeah, so she did her thing, man. So and I think that's just a testament to her community building and something that I want to start doing as I start to build out. But it takes time. I'm not looking to do it overnight. So because it's like I'm so immersed. I was telling the people in the room, so
yeah,
I'm so immersed in the old school. You get venture capital, right? I was trying to go for that big 100 million number, right? When that didn't happen, I started pivoting more to lifestyle brand.
yeah.
Then I kind of like, okay, we can kind of roll this out for a little bit. But yeah, the old school way of doing it, man, I don't know. It's very rare you can do that, especially now where there's just so much money. So we can talk about it. We can kind of pivot into some topics today. But did you hear that latest story with AI? Facebook invested more than 14 billion into scale AI and hired the CEO, his 28-year-old CEO, to to the uh, to the business. And it's the interesting thing about this, and the reason I'm sharing it, I'm going to see if we can do it this way, man. I'm going to present this way. Let's see. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see if we can do it this way. So, where did I put it? Yeah. Oh, so it's 14.3 billion. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yeah. Hire CEO Scale AI. Have you heard of Scale AI?
No, I was just looking it up as you brought it up.
Yeah. So he's a 28-year-old. So his company basically has humans that train AI systems to, the learning phase they have to go through, right, to
Yeah.
ensure that they understand how to answer questions correctly. And so I don't know what Facebook is doing. I need to do understanding of that, but it's basically a company that is, yeah. So, and it's not an acquisition because they only bought 49% of the company. So
Okay.
it's interesting. He's still, they hired the CEO and they bought 49% of his company, but it's still
Yeah.
kind of technically owned by the CEO. Isn't that crazy? And
Yeah.
you know why they did that, right?
Uh, talking about antitrust from Meta, maybe.
Yep, you got it, brother.
Yeah.
Yep,
I mean, that's what I'd figure.
yeah, because they don't want all that foolishness. So yeah, $14.3 billion to scale AI in the middle deploys. He posted on X.
So yeah, I always love seeing like a startup kid. Yeah, let me not even take off my puffer jacket.
Yeah, no, never that. Don't do that, man. Come on. 14.3 billion in scale as part of the deal and will have 49% stake in the AI company. So I'm trying to understand what is strategic partnership and scale AI. I guess Zuckerberg is having concerns about their Llama A1 models and that the developers are not loving it. So by buying a company that makes helps to train the AI models better, could make his Llama model. Because so it seems like all these uh like Google, Google, OpenAI, everybody's trying to create the one AI model to rule them all. Is that what we're up against right now? And they're trying to figure out how to create that model, and they're just putting a bunch of money into it, right? So either technology, either training information like data or
Mhm.
people like Facebook, or data centers like OpenAI, going to
Like
Saudi Arabia. Or did
like
you saw that latest foolishness? They're trying to build data centers in space.
well, that save on cooling cost, and
Yeah.
that's actually one of them. No, I thought you were going to actually talk about Elon building his poisonous power plant in Memphis.
Well, there you
Uh,
go. That too. So just building in places that you wouldn't think to build a data center, right? To kind of get these, as it takes so much energy and so much computing power, right? To kind of build out these models to make them effective. So, um, yeah, man. So it's one of those things that I don't know, man. How are we feeling about AI, man, right now? I mean, we talk about it here and there. I'm feeling. I think it's just hype, man. It's getting become more and more hype than
well,
anything.
okay. Here's usually I try to knock down your argument because I'm liking all the AI hype, but uh, you're actually onto something. Because they still have a few hurdles they need to get over. And let me pull up this Apple article. I don't know if you heard about Apple. They did their own set of intelligence benchmarks for AI.
Okay.
And basically, it turns out that, and I ran across this too. It turns out that the benchmarks that they've been putting AI up against, like, hey, here's where we think you're intelligent. Let's see if you pass the test. And, they had all these old models. And it's basically like, well, yeah, these are all the old models. So if we ask a computer to argue 2 points, it's just going to go back in the back room, pull out a bunch of books and start reading them back to you very quickly. right?
Mm.
And it's just deciding how to do that.
Hmm.
As far as critical thinking, even that, it'll go back in the back and say, holy crap. How did Einstein think about this? How did this guy think about this? Okay, here are all these different sets of thoughts. Let me find one that might work. And it still doesn't know. Um, so it would just present that back. And it started to look more and more like it was thinking. And apparently, the study by Apple, let me just look up Apple AI study. Apparently, the study from Apple said that basically, if you tried to give it something interesting, doesn't even have to be extremely complex, but just something really interesting, it really started to fall over itself.
Interesting.
It's like,
Is
hey,
this the paper Illusion of Thinking?
the Apple's machine learning research that just came out on June 2025. That would be it. Yes,
Yeah, Illusion of
because I just
Thinking.
pulled that up too.
Yeah.
In short, let's see.
Yeah, the illusion of thinking. I mean, we want to get into the paper, but also I'll always say consider the source. We already know Apple's having difficulty with AI.
That is very true. Um, but no, when you start to give it interesting things like what you start to figure out that AI can't understand how to play chess. AI doesn't understand people being weird, out of nowhere. It's you start to try to give it different puzzles, and then that's where it fails because extrapolate it out to a huge to a huge scale. It's like, well, this is still just pattern recognition and piecing together information from previous bits of information, like predictive technology. It's like,
Mhm.
well, what comes after the world or some other
So,
noun?
so these large reasoning models, as compute, I guess, not to be compared to LLMs, large language models. They're saying LLMs perform with low complexity tasks, like find me, the best piece of joint, in the 5 mile square radius, versus
Hmm.
a median square task where LLMs distributed some advantages, but the high complexity tasks where both models experience complete collapse. Collapse. Wow.
Yeah,
So it
that's
does
definitely a flavored word in there.
not just collapse, but complete. Just fell out. Yeah, man. I agree. I think this illusion of thinking is something that's because it comes back so fast. I think we always think, but then anybody's played with enough AI models, they hallucinate all the time. Matter of fact, I
Yeah,
get to the point where I don't even use the LLM unless they can give me a link, to go search for it on the internet, right somewhere.
yeah,
I was like, don't even come back with no crap. I don't want to hear your crap. I want you to have a reference, to what you said, and I can look at it for myself to kind of, collaborate with it, what it said to me. But yeah, man, it's becoming, yeah. So yeah. So are we at agreement that this hype cycle is at its apex, or what are we thinking here?
no, not at all. Not at all at its apex.
Oh,
Um, because AI is the future. They say no kings. The king will be AI, and you won't even notice it.
I don't. But
You
but
will
it's
not
just
be able to
like.
critically think. It'll be
Well, you know what? It's just like I just don't. I think it's useful because I've been using it to do some stuff. It's
mhm.
useful to kind of create some initial things to start down the path of. Like yeah, I think I've been using it more for brainstorming, like you suggested,
Okay.
and I think it's giving me some initial paths to go down. But you're right. There's still that gap. Like I gotta implement this and kind of see if this really is going to work. Like they said it's going to work because there's no telling. They just give you some prop, and then I think also you got to realize that a lot of this is what's it probabilistic. So it's using probability to determine what's the
Yeah.
likelihood of this next phrase, the likelihood of this action could
Yeah.
work. But we know, I mean, probability, yeah, just because someone can work 99% of the time, there's that 1%, and you could be that 1% that doesn't work for it.
Yeah.
So I think that's the challenge. We always thinking we're very deterministic. You do
Yeah.
X plus Y equals Z, but it's not like that. It's like it could be X plus Y, it could be A, it could be C, it could be E, and the percentages of A,
X
B, and
plus
C.
Y equals Northern Kentucky, and you're like, what?
Exactly.
What does that mean? It's like Northern Kentucky. That's my answer. And you're like, that making sense, dog. And it's like you don't make sense.
Well, the human mind doesn't, I mean, it is not. thinking like that literally, right? I'm reading a book.
Yeah.
It's called "How Not to Be Wrong." The power of math. Let me see. The power of mathical thinking. I don't know if you've read this book.
No.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, it's just basic understanding of how to think like a mathematician. And
Bruh.
one of the chapters is what? One of the chapters is I love this chapter. It says straight locally, curve globally, and just breaks down like how did they come up with
Yeah.
pi and
Yeah.
calculating the circumference of a square of a circle, but they had to think of it like a line, and that's so true. When you think everything like up front, it's just like a straight line. When you step back, that straight line could go down, it could go up. It's not
Yeah. Yeah.
really a straight line, and so I think that's something that we as human beings don't understand. I mean, we can't comprehend five. I don't think we can comprehend 7 billion people on the planet.
No. No. It's just.
We
It's
can't
just.
comprehend that. That's just because sometimes you just like because we're so focused on me, me, me. I mean,
Hmm.
seeing it going to a stadium, they just went to my wife and daughter went to a stadium with about what 50,000 people in the stadium. That's a
Yeah.
lot. That's still a drop in the bucket of how many people on the
Yeah.
planet. And so so I say that to say is like I don't think people realize how large the internet is, how large these AI models can be, and even
Yeah.
then, they're still not grasping what it means to think for itself. And so this hypeness and all this money that's going into it, and I know I'm going to circle of logic here and just talking about different random things, but it goes back to that the keynote, the Empire of AI I told you about, but that the author, I can't remember her name right now. I think it was Ellen something. I'll look it up. But she has said there was so many different paths they could have went down to create AI, but the least common they did the way they went down the path of was figuring out how can they create a models that all they did was do more, scale more, right? So
Mhm.
uh, captured so much data to pretend like it was doing something of relevance when they could have done a different way of thinking through that, but they didn't. And because they're going
You,
down this
you know.
path
Yeah.
now, I don't know if they're ever going to achieve AGI, artificial general intelligence.
You know what? This is where I think you have to, like, to Apple's credit, they, instead of, you have to, it's not just one thing, it's a combination. You're going to have to get large reasoning models, large abstraction
There you
models,
go.
large disruptive models, whatever, all these different types of models to think of, because even you as a person aren't just you. You're
Good
morning
point.
you, you're
Oh,
tired
ooh,
you,
bars,
you're
bars. Tell
romantic
them
your father and all these
bars.
parts of you fight against each other. That's
Yeah.
what AI is going to end up having to be, if it's actually going to get anywhere.
But I don't think it's going to get to that point because you're right. That's going to take a magnitude to get that complexity. Is going to take way more money than they have. Individual companies, at
Okay,
least.
individual, and yeah, and that's when you start to get into, well, how does this all end up playing out? Um, I was just looking up. Crap. See, that's what happens when you get too many tabs open. I'm not supposed to have tabs open while I'm doing this.
We got
Messed up my
tabs
piece.
on tabs, brother.
But what I was thinking of was, oh crap, I totally lost it. Yeah, I lost it. All right. Well, AI is going to do big things, and at least I still think it is.
I mean,
Just
it
how it
just
happens is
I just don't think it's going to be like, hey AI, do this for me. I think there's going to be still a lot of thought
no
process because
no technology ever starts out like that. I remember back in the day with MP3s. I remember I was like, "Hey, here's an MP3," and they're like, "What is this? A file? Well, you got to do this." And I explained all the steps you had to go through at the time
yeah,
to get it to work. And I was like, "You have to go in the ID3 tag and give it an identifier, a name, and everything." And they were just like, "Why can't I just hit? Why can't I just hit play? I can't use it in my CD player." I was like,
oh yeah,
"Oh, well, if you want to get to your CD player, listen, I have the CD burning program. First of all, you're going to have to organize, and you're going to have to make a
yeah.
listing file." And
Those were
this was
fun
way,
days.
yeah,
Fun days.
before it was just, iTunes burned to disk, years before even that,
Oh yeah,
right?
I remember them days. Napster just burning stuff. I remember going to tour sites and finding TV shows. So yeah, those are fun times, man. Well you're right, but there's is it going to be game changing? That's a challenge. I mean, yes, MP3 change our lives? Yes, we can now carry, a million songs in our pocket. Have iPhones, really changed us? Yes, I think that has changed our behavior in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
AI though, I mean, but I think they were saying this is going to be the last technology, right? That's what they're kind of, yeah, this is going to be the last technology. This is
Ooh.
how they're well, the last, because if we do it right, then it can invent everything else from here on out. And I don't think it's going to do that. That's the hype.
Okay. Okay. That I don't buy. For the very fact that
The
you,
last
st-
invention, not the last technology, but the last invention.
yeah, we're still caught up in a digital, um, mathematical kind of sense. And James Clear, that's who it was. That's I just caught what I was trying to think of a little while ago. So we're still caught up in this thing that James Clear calls like the 80-20 problem, where you keep drilling down and you keep getting better in a certain direction. What that what that pure way of thinking doesn't do is stop, step back, look around, and find a completely different direction to 80-20 on.
Hmm.
And you have to do that every so often in stages, because once AI advances, then everything's got to catch up to that. But while that's happening, you can't really advance AI too much anymore. So you have to jump to something like molecular biology. I don't know,
Hmm.
and then after that, it's like, okay,
Well, technically, AI could affect molecular biology,
oh no,
right?
it'll affect
So,
that. Um, but what I'm saying is, it's not a it's not just the one thing that can ever be the solution for everything. There's multiple things that are going to come
I'll
together
be
to.
add to your point. It's a foundational. It could be a foundational piece, or it could be a piece that makes
Absolutely.
finding cancer. This because you're
Yeah.
right. A cure for cancer may involve not just a technical solution or
Mhm.
understanding computational issues, but also distribution issues and social issues, right? How many people will take a
There you go.
vaccine? How many people will? And you can use ChatGPT all you want, but it's not going to figure out how to get people to take a vaccine. Well, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
You create an AI influencer. Hey, baby. You call it what do you call it? What's it called? What's it called? Man, what's it called?
Man.
Only vaccine, only vaxes.
Oh man.
He shows some
Only
people.
vaxes.
He shows some hot women. Hey baby, you want this vax, don't
Look at my bandage. It's like I got the jab
you?
yesterday.
Only
I'm gonna get.
vaxes, man. I love it. Man, we've been talking about AI technology, just critical thinking skills. I mean, we'll talk about some entertainment stuff real quick.
What you got?
Well, Warner Brothers Discovery. You heard they're breaking up. I don't know if you saw that news.
Oh yeah,
It was
somebody told me
just.
I should talk about that in the podcast. Go ahead. What's happening with them?
I mean, no, man, they just split in two, brother. It's just which is bound to happen. I mean, I think Warner Brothers, when Discovery bought them, we talked about this, right? Discovery was what this Discovery Channel was, this like reality show, um, reality channel, right? That was something that we thought like, okay, you got these shows like what's it called, the Dr. Pimple Popper, 90 Day Fiance, all this other crap, TLC. And it's like, how's that going to match with HBO, right? Which is quality content, Game of Thrones, multi-million dollar budgets, Sopranos. And it didn't. And they were trying to compete with Netflix to kind of have highbrow. What remember the argument was like lean back TV versus lean in TV. You remember
Yeah.
that argument?
Hmm.
And it just, and the challenge was Netflix just ate their lunch. I mean, when it comes to like, content. Now the real winner right now is not going to be Netflix against everybody else. It's going to be YouTube against everybody else. But we'll talk about that debate another
Yeah.
day.
Man,
But
I had a great idea for a YouTube killer. I'll
oh,
show it
oh,
to you
oh,
later
oh,
off the
oh,
pod.
oh, pod uncut. Um, yeah, man. So they were saying here, Mr. Benja, I'd like to share my screen here. Let's see if I can share this one. Yes, guys, I've been sharing a lot. So James, I don't know how this is gonna look on the screen, but you'll make it work, Mr. James. So anyway, yeah, we have questions.
Oh, they
So
got tear his face in half.
yeah, well, he just and then he was trying to get $53 million as a bonus, and they said no.
Boo. Yeah. Boo.
So it's been barely 4 days since announced a plan to carve up the company anew. We have some idea what the strategy looks like. Say the lab be a debt, so they're going to have a debt. So basically, anything that's not making money, they're going to put it into this like entity. I think who else did that? Someone else did that. I
So,
can't remember. It's going to
so
be a debt. Real quick, there's going to be like a debt instrument where they're going to put all these things that are not making money into this like spot. And then what's going to happen is they're going to have private equity is like, hey, can we take this and flip it to make some money off of it? But anything that's making money, they're going to keep like HBO and stuff like that. So they're going to send off TNT, TBS, TCM, and others, and let it kind of sit out there and see who wants to buy it later. Because they got to get out. Linear, what's happening, cable bundles, people are not paying cable like they used to.
right.
It's happening because the numbers are going lower. It's become too expensive to kind of pay for this programming. So they don't want to deal with it anymore. They just want to get
Yeah.
strictly the content that's going to be profitable. So it's just not looking good.
What is it with these companies and this trying to be everything for everybody instead of building up? Like, why does Disney Plus have to have all of my Hulu content, have to have all of the Marvel content? I mean, from a branding perspective, it just seems like it seems like too much.
Well,
When your brand is just too much.
Netflix, man. Netflix just came in and just ate their lunch, and Netflix has everything: global programming, YA, what else? Documentaries.
Okay.
I mean, you name it. What doesn't Netflix have, right? Now I get into live sports, right, with WWE.
Mhm.
So I think they thought they can compete with Netflix when they saw what they did, but they invested all this money. And, just like anything, it takes time. They invested these money, and they realized, oh, we can't compete. so, so now they're
Oh, my bad, dog.
yeah, exactly, pretty much. So now they're
I thought we could compete.
say, hey, man, my bad, man. I didn't mean no offense, brother. You know that. So
I mean,
so yeah, so now they're retreating and going back into the, so Disney's plan was to kind of do his own thing, but then, take their stuff off of Netflix and create bundles. That's why they got Hulu and then the ESPN and Disney bundle, right, to kind of provide to you. But yeah, man, Netflix just ate their lunch, and so now they're kind of all licking their wounds. And so you remember back in the day, Netflix used to license their programs, so they would pay HBO and these other
mhm.
studios millions of dollars just to license, and that was money. They were like, "Oh, this is great money. We can license our stuff. This is stuff we weren't getting paid for anyway. Cool." And then they found out the algorithm was figuring out like, "Oh, you like Sopranos? You like Game of Thrones? Why don't we just greenlight our own Game of Thrones? Let's greenlight our own, And so they create their own shows and all that. But now Netflix has so much data that they're like, we don't need you no more. We can create hits on our own. Stranger Things, Wednesday, what's that one? Squid Game.
Yeah.
So yeah, get out of here. So anyway, man, yeah. So WB is breaking up, and that's the big news. The other story of the week. Did you watch the BET 25 awards show?
I barely only knew about that because of Kai Cenat.
Yeah. They don't translate well to traditional TV. I just say that. Him and Drewski, I didn't like it. Didn't like it at
Did
one
you
bit.
watch it from the TV side or the streaming side?
I watched it on the TV side. They look terrible.
There
Now
you
the
go.
streaming side, you're right.
That's
It might
why.
have worked perfect because they come off as loud, super loud, and super
Yeah.
out there, just like almost slow because they're just just trying to and it
Yeah.
doesn't. And then Kevin Hart was trying to like calm him down a little bit, even in his funny way. But I think they just came off. But hey, they're the future, so who am I to judge, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so they gotta make their presence felt. But how did it look on the streaming side? I guess when you saw it,
On the streaming side, it was almost like, hey, we're hanging out with these antiquated people.
Yes.
And it kind of worked, dog. Because I mean, he had his camera like, down by his knee, kind of looking up his shoulder into his face, and he was just commentating like everybody else is talking to people beside them, like, "Hey, how you doing?" Da da da, and he was just talking to the fans, like in the
Mhm.
middle of this thing. So he was like, "Man, I just saw such and such, and I was thinking this and that, and they're doing a movie together, and da da da." He was just talking to the fans while everybody else was talking to each other, and it
Mm.
seemed like they were so disconnected, like these old dinosaurs walking around talking to each other
Wow.
instead of talking to the community, right?
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, some girl walked by and they're like, "You streaming now? Now?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, da da da. Say hi." And it was wild, man. But yeah,
Wow.
Drewski. Who else was there that is online a lot like that? I don't know. But yeah, I know what
Wow.
you're talking about.
But I do feel that, man. It's just I mean, I'm not in the young crowd, so I'm not the cool one in the crowd, but I get a sense that it does seem there's a Jamie Foxx is there, Snoop. I mean, this is one of the biggest BET awards. They had some of the biggest stars that came out for this one. I mean, they had your boy came out, Lil Wayne, he came out. They had,
Hmm.
of course, Kendrick Lamar. He came out, did his thing out there in LA, and then the new one, Doechii. She had
Hmm.
her came claim to fame. So I mean, it was like who was there. I mean, for the first
Yeah,
time in a long time. But it does feel like it's almost like a dying industry, because for someone who's not as much in streaming and all that stuff, but I do feel like they're the because of my kids. I mean, we'll talk about this. They don't watch other shows. They just go on YouTube. They
yeah.
My kids know more about the streamers, like yeah, obviously Mr. Beast, but there's like my son watches basketball, so he's watching.
Does it,
I forgot the kid's name, but he
does
knows
it
all
watch
the.
ISO Speed?
No, he doesn't watch that yet. I don't know about that one, but they know more. I mean, I guarantee they know more. They probably know more influencers than probably you and I know TV. And I know a lot of TV stars and movie stars, but they probably know
Di-
more influencers than I do. And that goes to show. I mean, they're the next generation, so these influencers will be the celebrities of the future. And so it does feel like the Hollywood stars, all them. It's like you put all the energy to look good, to create your craft, and it's dying. You're like, that's
Yeah,
a good actress, but no one would know who you are anymore. You're not doing acting to be famous anymore. Let's be honest.
yeah,
So it's kind of
exactly.
like you're just doing it because and that's kind of how it always was. Historically, right? That was acting was kind of one of those things that hey, you just did it because of calling, but no one cared. And I think we're kind of getting back to that, right? So it's as people who grew up in that era, right in the '90s, especially when black actors and actresses start, we remember at FAM we used to go see. Oh yeah, we're gonna see Booty Call. We're gonna go see what other movies came out when we were there. Just any soul food, right?
Yeah,
Any of those movies that came out with black folks. Oh yeah, we're doing this '90s. We're making it happen in Hollywood. It don't
yeah,
matter no more, dude.
yeah, yeah.
So I don't know, man. That's why we talked about this before. Wow. Uh, what the top movie stars are 70 years old and older. Like these younger ones who are trying to break in, it's only like about five of them that's below 40. So,
Yeah. You got your Zendaya, Tom Holland. Uh,
because Michael B. Jordan is knocking on 40, he's there right there.
yeah.
But it's not many, man. So, Timothy Chalamet, he's probably the last one, but even him,
Mhm.
the reason why he's getting some traction because he knows how to go back and forth. He was on game day, he had to go show up on game day, he had to go on podcasts, show him, hey, if I really wanted to, I could be a podcaster like y'all, right? He had to show him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, man, it's a weird time of entertainment, and then don't get me started on the AI of it all, right? And how that's going to change things.
Well,
Um,
real quick, did you hear about the story about AI? I mean, Meta changing how they generate ads.
yeah, well, I heard something about that. What's going on there? What's the foolishness there?
So basically, and this is where influencers come into play. So it reminded me of it. Instead of me sitting down and saying, hey, here's how I want my ads, here's how I want to go to. You basically just put all your information out there and say, hey, Facebook ads, go do your business. And Facebook has AI that will go through your content, your current audience, and start building ads and showing stuff out there for you.
Oh, wow.
So it's just basically designing its own ad campaigns, getting you in front of the right people or the wrong people. I don't know how it's going to
Yeah.
be doing it.
That one.
But like, it's like, why are all my books going to Northern Kentucky? And you find out there's some cult out there. You're like, no.
Last year I did a deep dive into all of Facebook stuff, so I put some ads out there. They work, man. I mean, you just I have to constantly change it. The challenge with the algorithm is, so they used to have like real specific targeting, and that was cool. So they got, when I started playing for last year, they kind of got rid of a lot of that, but you still have to kind of create your content, keep it updated regularly so it can feed the algorithm. But the challenge, if you kind of get the AI algorithm, is like, how do you trust it to not put their thumb on the scale, right? They're going to always put the thumb on the scale of making it cost you more. And so that's the challenge I have with AI running things. And so it'll be interesting to see how this all pans out. I can tell you right now, someone who runs Google ads, I'm seeing some decreased leads coming my way. And that's absolutely because of search. People are not searching on Google as much. I gotta believe that. And so I think, I'm seeing decreases in my Google ad, the upticks. I just, put some more money into it just recently just to see what would happen this month. If it ain't performing, man, I gotta like take all that money out and I gotta like put it somewhere else. So yeah, man, ads is not where it's at. I get it, as you're trying to grow, you gotta get the coder audiences. But the ad, man, it's a race to it really increases your customer acquisition cost because you really put a lot of money to get these new audiences into your boat.
Yeah, so exactly. So here's a story from it's bounced from MSN. It came from Wall Street Journal. Let's see. Meta's all in on creating the ads you see on Instagram and Facebook. Meta is working on a near future where many of the ads you see on Facebook or Instagram are created from scratch by AI and thus more easily targeted specifically to you. Its goal is fully automated AI-powered ad generation by the end of 2026. So trying to cut out roles for copywriters, designers, media buyers, artists, and whatever you call them, production people.
Well, I'm using the whole Frank Kern strategy. I have a one ad. It's been performing. I use it. It's pretty. Well, it's not. It's okay, but it's so cheap. It's like you heard the one where he said, "What you do is you create an ad, and it basically just tell the title of the website they want to go to. You don't put a link. It's just an awareness campaign." And it works. I mean, I'm getting a couple thousand, a month, just going to this one website, and I don't really do anything with it. It's so cheap. You get 100,000, 200,000, 500,000 impressions for very cheap. And so, forget clicking, man. I don't trust the clicking.
Man, Frank Kern doesn't want to do any work.
Well, it makes sense. You just say, you just say one little thing, and you just keep saying that over and over again to the right audience. They'll eventually go search you out, and that's proven out. I've been running for the last almost a year now, and I get at least a couple of leads from it, and it's pretty cheap because you're not clicking on anything. It's just an awareness campaign, so you don't have to pay for $2, $3, $4, $5 a click, and so you're just paying for pennies on the dollar. Now, will that go up because of this AI thing? Probably, but they can't. I can't attribute this ad to a conversion. Does that make sense? It's just more of an awareness. It's like a billboard. It's like, hey, so I've been kind of experimenting with that. I was thinking about putting some more money in to see what would happen, just to see if I can get some more leads from that. But anyway, so that's just my 2 cents on it. Mr. Benja, anything else?
Want to hit some trailers real quick?
Yeah, let's do that, man. I saw you got one here, but do you have anything else going? You saw anything else?
Oh, really quick. For the comments today, thank you everybody who provided good information on what was that Jason Momoa film? I'm so sorry, I forgot the name of it.
Chief of War.
Yeah. Chief of War. Yeah, I was about to say War Chief or something like that. But that got some comments, and Let me just look it up. So
Yeah.
I want to read some of them right quick. Du-du-du, du-du-du. Sorry, guys. We're doing it live, so this is what happens now.
Wicked for Good. Let's see.
Let's see if we can have some. Okay, here we go. Chief of War from our trailer. Yeah, we got for 89 views, we have 4 comments with actual commentary, which means a good thing. You know, people are actually checking in on and commenting. So happy for that. But one person says it's based on a true story. Lele Kahalepuna. Very authentic sounding name. Says it's based on a true story of the unification of the Hawaiian kingdom through the eyes of Kaiana, sorry, a historical figure in Hawaiian history who was a high-ranking chief and warrior, and Kamehameha, who later became king of unified Hawaii. King Kamehameha. That comes from Dragon Ball, by the way. No, it doesn't come from Dragon Ball, but Dragon Ball
Take that.
got that from here. Yeah. Yeah, so people let the people looking out for Chief of War, man. I like to hear that. Yeah, Samoan and Hawaiian history.
I like this lava sledding. That's all they put. Facts.
Facts.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, man. So people checking that out. So I appreciate everybody's comments on that one. I'm trying to think. Let's see. We got a lot of views on. Did we get any comments on Wicked for Good? Let's see. No. Oh yeah. Jenny Beans 91 says they sure better not remake the Wizard of Oz and the rest of the books. Nah, I wouldn't want that either. However, I do love the Wizard of Oz and the first Wicked movie. I've seen them both many times. I can't wait for this one. Well, dang, they just want to do one and done, huh? 2 and done, I guess. They're gonna do the first one and the second one, and I guess people are not. If they do all the, did you check to see how many Wizard of Oz books they have out there?
No, I didn't check.
It's a deuce mob, man. You thought they had so many members in Wu-Tang Clan, man. It's to the Wizard of Oz books. Oz books. Let's see. Let's see how many books does he have here. The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz, 1900. The Marvelous Land of Oz, 1905. Ozma of Oz. Dorothy and the Wizard in Oz. The Road to Oz. The Emerald City of Oz. The Patchwork Girl of Oz. The TikTok. Oh, what?
Oh.
Wait a minute. Did they come out with? Well, TikTok's been around for a minute, but TikTok.
Oh my
the
God.
Phrase 1914. TikTok. Oh man, they that should come out like yesterday.
Yeah, my sister was into all this, and she used to be a good storyteller. You know, she would tell stories from books that she'd read, and I'd be all like, "Wow, really? That's great. That's awesome." So she got me into the whole book and storytelling kind of thing. But I just remember after the basics of Oz, he's like, and then I was like, nah. I just remember falling off and didn't care about anything she had to say about the Emerald City or, you know, Rinka-Tink, you know, the Tin Woodman and all those other books. Just didn't care. I don't know why.
Dude, I'm looking at this, man. There's been a Wizard of Oz book every decade, at least 3 since. Well, yeah. Well, the last one it looks like was in 2001, according to YouTube. I mean, Google. But that's crazy, Mr. Benja. This is a lot.
So the original author wrote 14, and then other authors wrote more.
Yeah, of course. He didn't live that long, but just writing Oz books. I'll write Oz books to the day I die. But yeah, I'm looking at this now. Let's see. I'm trying to think. They just had the title, but who wrote this book? They don't tell you the book. But anyway, yeah, man, it's crazy. 14 books, man. He wrote from 1900 for about 20 years. He just wrote nothing but Oz books. That's crazy.
That must be life, man. You sit back, and do some illicit substances and I'm thinking about Oz. What's going on with him? I don't know. I just come by to check to see if
I mean,
there's
that's to me, that's amazing, man. You create something that's so crazy. It just, I mean, in your lifetime, you see it be successful. And just like, what's it, Sir? The guy who created Sherlock Holmes? What's his name?
Isaac Newton?
No.
No.
Oh no, Mr. Benja. Flames coming your way. Conan Doyle or something like that. Let's see.
Sir Conan Doyle?
Conan Doyle, yeah. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. But what
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
create something so powerful in your lifetime? In your lifetime, man, this is something that gets big. So anyway, I digress. We digress.
I never looked up a picture of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and I didn't know he had this Oz kind of mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you get for being a writer and a physician at the same time. A mustache like that.
So what are we gonna
All right.
watch here? We got what's this one called? The Pickup. Anything else you want to watch?
It's got Eddie Murphy in it. So that's all I'm saying.
Is there anything else you want to watch? Let's see. That was interesting.
I actually haven't seen the Superman trailer. I figure you have.
I didn't worry. Yeah, I think I'm tired, man. I'm just ready for this movie to come out.
All right.
I mean, so aren't you at this point? just come out, damn it. Trailers. Let's see. Anything trailers this week? That was interesting.
Well, the Spaceballs teaser. I'll wait for the real trailer to come out.
Yeah, I want to see that. And these remakes, man, I'm exhausted with that too. So, yeah, man, it looks like that's the only one I see.
Oh man, we got to at least have two for the fans.
For the fans and the algorithm.
The algo.
For algo. Let's see. No, that's 3 weeks ago. Let me see if you see anything.
Hey, wait a minute. Star Trek Strange New Worlds trailer?
Oh yeah, well, I saw pieces of it, but yeah, I'll rock with that.
Let me copy that link. Yeah, you like Star Trek.
Oh,
I
love it, man. I love it. You like
them Vulcans and them them Ferengi.
Hey, Ferengi. You get down with the Ferengi. You get down with man, I love Star Trek. I don't know what it is, man. Especially that show. That show's amazing. All right,
what?
Send me a link, brother.
I wasn't going to say this, but
Uh-oh.
let me paste this link very quick before I get into that foolishness.
Star Wars Strange New World.
I'll say it when we get to the Star Trek portion.
All right, you got some Star Trek stuff.
All right.
Is it tied to cosplayers in Star Trek?
No.
How they get down?
All right, you ready for the to do the pickup?
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Where's the link? Did you send? Where'd you put the link at? In the
it's in the doc.
Oh, it's in the doc. Okay, I thought you put it in the. I got like 20 things open up, man. Let's see. Okay, here it is. Let's do that one for the algo. For algo going like this. Why is it coming up twice? All right, push pause. What y'all doing to me? All right. I'm a Strange New World's head. All right, Mr. Benja, you ready? Go ahead and do your pickup.
All right. This is the official trailer reaction for The Pickup, a 2025 movie with Eddie Murphy, Pete Davidson, Keke Palmer, and others, coming to Prime Video. And we're starting right now.
Happy anniversary. We're going to have dinner, 8 p.m. sharp. Don't be late.
I won't be late. Paga la luz.
You usually say, para la luz, pendejo. I think this place is about to close up.
Well, luckily for you, this date isn't over until your uniform is on my hotel room floor.
Oh, Lord.
Holy shit.
Tell me you can make it hot.
I got leave. This is my 25th wedding anniversary. If I miss dinner with my wife tonight, I will be shot.
Don't do anything stupid.
Whatever gets you home to your wife in time for your special day.
Happy anniversary.
Route 5, get out there.
You were supposed to retire. I'm moving on to a new career.
You're pivoting this late?
Well, how old do you think I am? Well, you're black, so you look 40, but we could be up to 90.
That's facts.
You seeing this? Pull over and you won't get hurt. We're gonna die. Calm down. Remember your training.
Put your hands up!
I took a 15-hour online course. What training? Harvey!
Action.
Miller. Who? Oh, that's not good. Since you're gonna kill us, why don't you just show us who you are? Tell us to show this out!
Yo, you better give me that money.
I'm gonna throw up. You swallow that shit. If you throw up, you a bitch.
What is this? And who is they?
Change of plans. You two are gonna help me steal $60 million from the casino. Because if you don't, your wife's dead.
If you let us go, I'll let you bang my twin sister. She looks like me with long hair.
You trying to get us shot?
Russell, you don't answer your phone? Did you forget you married a Latina? I put a tracking chip in your neck. Hi, Natalie.
You fell in love this weekend?
Of course. We did butt stuff.
That was awesome, dude.
I look at my leg and my foot and my ankle, my meniscus. I know I tore my whole back out, too.
What, just from that?
Are those the same underwear from Friday? Should have been a red flag.
Interesting.
So Eddie Murphy's still taking this Prime money and loving it.
Yeah,
apparently.
well, Netflix Prime money, because yeah, because wasn't Beverly Hills Cop 4? I think it was on Netflix. I thought, or maybe it was on Prime. I think it was on Netflix.
That was from Netflix, I believe.
And but Come to America, to your point, was on
Yeah.
Prime. So, yeah, man, I don't know. Seems like basic story. I mean, I like everybody in it. Of course, who doesn't like see Kiki doing her thing?
Yeah.
Kiki doing Kiki. You saw that? Andrew Dice Clay? What's that about? I thought he was canceled.
You can't cancel the dice, man.
You know what I like to do? The bigger, bang. Yeah.
You know what's so funny is that's like one of his characters, but the only character anybody knows.
Oh,
Like,
yes. Good point.
That's a complete character.
Yeah.
And people say if you meet him, they're like, yeah, he's just always in a character.
Yeah.
So he's doing some character,
Yeah.
like
That's
most of
his
the
thing.
time.
That was
And
his
most
thing.
people don't even know who he is.
Well, that was the thing that popped off. Just like, you're a YouTuber, whatever you do, it pops off. You're going to keep doing that, right? And so,
But I mean,
that's-
like most of his friends, because he carries it like into life.
oh, wow. That's some old, some
Yeah.
deep method stuff, right? Who knows? It was too long, man. I mean, it was just I
For a
felt-
trailer,
yeah,
yes.
for a trailer. It's just like going to her, the backstory. Who is this? Who is that? Then we're gonna get together. Then we made out. Then we did. So I don't know, man. I give it a B. No, I give it a C. It's
You
just
see?
it just seemed tired a little bit. I kind of know
was,
where
it
else going. Where else is going? I mean, Marshawn Lynch is in it. Eddie Murphy, but it doesn't seem. The jokes didn't seem interesting enough. I don't see the market that's really driving this to go see it. But then it's Prime Video, so
Yeah, you know what's funny? It's like they added explosions and it still felt cheap.
yeah.
So, it's like, this has been out for 6 days and it's only got 4 comments on it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So
it could be something, but
I don't.
I was
It's
gonna
hard
give it-
It's hard. I mean, be honest with you. I don't see any streaming movies. Very rarely. Now, streaming TV shows can pop off, right? Boys on Prime, Gen Z or Gen V popped off. Adolescents on Netflix recently popped off. I just don't. Very rarely see a TV show. Maybe the New Guard did halfway decent. What's that? Extraction. I don't know if you saw that on Netflix. That did pretty decent with Chris Hemsworth. But movies, man, it seemed like they're just like a dime a dozen on streaming. It just they seem cheap on.
So
streaming.
if you've got stars, why don't you go ahead and take the risk and do a little something interesting?
Exactly. I don't know. I don't know, man.
Oh man, I was asking from the business side. I was hoping business.
I'm asking you from creative side. I have no idea, man. You know they're gonna release Happy Gilmore on Netflix, and it's just gonna be tired. I have a feeling it's just not gonna be the there. The first one was hilarious. I love that and the Waterboard. To me, are the two best
You could
Adam
have
Sandler movies.
you could have a subtitle to Happy Gilmore, and all would and you could just Happy Gilmore subtitle Revenge of the Gator, and you get more people watching it just by doing
Good
that.
point. That's good branding right there, Mr. Benja. Yeah, we not switch. I'm going on your side. You coming on my side. We're gonna switch sides.
Like
Yeah,
my spring.
man. They should do, but this is it seems like it's original story, so they're trying to create the interest in there. But I don't know. It seems tired, man. So it's like you know how you watch a Netflix show or TV or movies like nothing else to do. Let me see what's out there. And I randomly picked we'll get into it in a second, but I randomly picked this one show. You ever the show called Jenny in Georgia? It's like the number one show on Netflix right now.
No, I don't know Jenny in Georgia.
Yeah, it's
I dropped
basically
Netflix, by the way.
oh well, there you go. It's basically a hard edged version of Girls. So I know you probably don't watch Gilmore Girls either, neither did I. But yeah, as a mother and daughter, and they're just living their lives. So I say all I have to say is like it's one of those shows that I see why it's driving attention, but it's not
Yeah.
one of those things where that's for me. And so Netflix has shows like that. You'll watch it. Okay, it's kind of like less filling. You just fill up with some empty calories. Oh yeah, that was good. Yeah, but I'm still full. So solid C for me for the pickup. What about you?
You said a solid C. I give it a C plus, man. I give it a C plus. A little more. I don't know. I like the explosions. I like what they're trying to do. Maybe if they can get into that groove of doing these type of movies, it could be something. So there's future there. I almost gave it a B minus, but I'm going with the C plus.
I love it. All right, let's move on.
All right, so be sure you like and subscribe and all that. We do have a full podcast if you're just checking out the trailer. So be sure to check out our full podcast with all kinds of nonsense like AI and whatever else. And that was just me getting used to putting a bumper at the end of the trailer. Thank you. We're doing it live, baby. I will tighten that up for next time. All right. You ready for the Star Trek business?
Let's do it.
All right. Let me pull that up. Get Eddie Murphy out of here. This is our official trailer reaction for Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Exclusive from... This is not exclusive. Inclusive. There we go. Starting right now.
Joke.
Actually, I'm going to applaud that joke at the end. I'm glad they did that.
Dad joke. I mean, I'm a fan.
You're the Star Trek guy.
I'm biased. This is A for me, man. I can't deny it. Great, they know their audience. I mean, if you watch the show, I mean, it's definitely one of the better Star Trek shows. I mean, it basically, the premise, right? It's before James Kirk shows up on the Enterprise, so it's Christopher Pike. So that's why you have Spock there,
Mm-hmm.
and then but James Kirk, he's in the show now, so it's kind of weird. So he's kind of like, "Hey, I'm here. I'm, Lieutenant. I'm hanging around, but I'm not the captain officially yet." And then they have all these other Uhura. She's there. That the sister. She's playing is it Nichols? Who played the original Uhura. So she's on the Enterprise. So yeah, they got some of the original characters from the original Star Trek on this show, but then they mix it up with some new characters. So kind of interesting.
So is this Spock?
Yeah, that's prequel.
Okay,
It's a prequel. It's a prequel to the Star Trek, basically.
Early Spock.
Yeah, early Spock before he becomes Spock. Are you out of your Vulcan mind? So so those are kind of the premise of it, and that's Christopher Pike before he gets in that. Do you know the premise of that?
Yes,
Why he got in that little
Pike.
in that robot thing? He's on that little thing that he can't move because he got his body burnt up. So anyway, don't let me get into the lore of Star Trek. It's a whole thing. But anyway, yeah, man, it's a fun show, man. It's kind of like taking you back to old Next Generation, but they're a little bit goofier with it. They did a whole singing episode where everybody sang because of some mysterious alien.
You see, that's what I expected. And what are they doing with these trailers? Like, who are they talking to? If you're going to be about the romance and the friendships and the goofiness, put that out on Front
Well,
Street, man.
they're talking to me. That's why I gave it an A, man, because I know the character. So why do you think they looked in the camera? Because they know, hey, this is for
That's
you.
what I want. That's what I want more of. And I'm saying they kind of played it off in the little. Okay.
But then if you
Somebody-
watch the show, this is the fourth season of it, and I think it ends next season, one more season. So if you know the characters,
this is the third season.
third season.
It says in season 3. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you know the characters, then that only a show that's confident of who they are, they're going to market the characters more so than the storylines. Now, for you as a new viewer, you don't give a hills of beans about who these people are looking in the camera about, right? So,
but I wanted more of that. That's what I'm saying.
They don't care about you no more, Mr. Benja. You would have jumped on, before. You didn't. It's too late for you.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure your view is valid because you just love Star Trek too much.
No, they don't. But look at the marketing. They already know. They know for a fact who's their audience, so they don't need to even tell you anything about this. Look, have the actors just look in the camera because they know who wants to watch this and who knows those characters and their storylines.
From their 3,100 views 8 days ago, they have 3 comments.
But that's the IGN. We were looking at the IGN one. Let's go to the Paramount. Go to the Paramount official trailer.
Strange New Worlds season 3. Let's trailer. Let's find the one from Paramount. Paramount Plus. Okay, 3.7 million views. Let's see if it's that's much more appropriate, right?
Yeah.
Apologies, I should have done that before. 390 comments. Actually, does that work out to be? That's less of a percentage, right?
It don't matter. People gonna want to see it. No, I'm just playing. So you're saying they had opportunity to give you more, so you could be drawn into it and potentially check it out.
Like, I want to know if they're going to go with the characters. I want to know more about the characters. I don't need to see these quick flashes and then next thing you know, starships are blowing up in space. I'm like, yeah, get back to the characters.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I think they're trying to show you that this is a character-driven show, and this is something that, I mean, to your point, because last season they hyped up that they were bringing Captain Kirk to the show, so they were getting hyped, trying to bring new viewers in. The first season, it was about like the action and stuff. So I think now they're just like, hey, we're settling in. This is the third season. We got 2 more seasons and we're done. So let's just settle into who we are. We're not going to grow this audience beyond this anymore. Cool. So
that's cool.
Yeah, so that's why I give it an A, because they know their brand, their audience, and they're right. I mean, I know every one of their storylines and characters. Who's my favorite? Would I say on that show? Let's see. Surprisingly, there's a character who is related to Khan, and I didn't know her from Adam, but she actually is one of the better actors and of the show, and she's kind of like holding it down. And as you would think Spock would be like the main one. Of course, he's a shiny star, but her character is the one that's kind of holding it all together a little bit. And the captain is pretty good too. He's kind of like is this one of those hit it? Hey, captain.
Hey.
And hi, shout out, man. I think and then I'm motioning. I told you what episode last year, Ad Astra. I told you that was an amazing story about what it means to be an immigrant, and that was like, Star Wars. I mean, Star Trek. If you don't know, they traffic in a lot of metaphor, and so yeah, that was about being an immigrant basically, and it was an amazing episode. And the actress who came in, she killed it, and so I thought that was amazing. So yeah, I'm a fan. So
okay, so controversial thing I was going to say before that has nothing to do with the trailer. When I was young and first starting to get into politics, and figuring out this stuff, I was like, hey. Are the Ferengi supposed to be Jewish? Is that what they're doing?
Ooh.
I did think that when I was young. I was like, are they? I thought that's what they might be trying to do. I didn't make that connection. Apparently, that's a misconception. It's just supposed to be greedy capitalist from the 80s, and that's where that came from. So anybody who thought that might have been Jewish, you shut the hell up. because we don't play that over here.
Well, there's rumors Romulans are Japanese. What's the name? Cleons are Russian. So it's a thing out there. If you didn't know, Cleons are very aggressive. Always war seeking. Folks. Romulans are very sneaky. Trying to do their thing. So it's of a thing. But yes, I don't know, but I don't know. If you look for it, you can find it.
Yeah. And trust me, when you're building this stuff, you actually have to think about it.
Oh, real talk. Real talk.
You just can't put stuff out there and be like, You can try. That's how you get.
What's that guy? Cabby Lane, whatever his name is.
You get done up.
Well, hey, real quick, there's a show on Apple TV. You got to at least have that, Mr. Benja, right? Apple TV. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, no, I got Apple TV because I'm sophisticated now.
Okay, good. There's a show called The Studio, and you'll like The Studio. It's not.
I like The Studio. No,
you watched it?
One of the reasons I got on was for The Studio. Yes.
So you did watch the whole thing?
Not the whole. Have I watched the whole thing? No, I think I have a couple episodes.
Did you watch the episode where they went into the racial casting with Ice Cube in it?
Kool-Aid Man, yes.
Hilarious. When they're sitting there going through, we can't have two black folks in this, black folks in this. Man, that's the funniest episode I have. I cracked. Matter of fact, I might watch that again.
Once again, real talk.
That was real talk. I was like, they're going there.
This is stuff that happens. We had, I can't think, there was a video game we did a while back. It was one of the Army Men video games. And there's a Jamaican character.
Oh, no.
And the character already has this overly stereotypical voice. But people were like, hey, let's do this and do this. And it's like, huh. So we start this mission, and right off the bat, the Jamaican guy gets in trouble and this and that. And it's like, why him? Well, actually, the other character did this, so they wouldn't have been over here. And then, yeah, it just kind of happened that way. It's like, yeah. And everybody looks around. It's like, you have to, this stuff, even if it's accidental, doesn't matter. You have to look out for it, make sure your stuff plays out right, and you're not saying anything that you don't mean to say. Interpretation is fine, but if there's something you intentionally did not try to say, don't say it.
I guess, man. Yeah. So it's hilarious. So yeah, go check out The Studio if you haven't seen it, guys. It's one of the funniest shows, especially when they start getting to that third act when all chaos ends. You got to definitely see the last episode. Hilarious. Okay. Yeah. So, Mr. Benja, man, I think that's it, man. We
no, hold on. But as far as this rating goes for Star Trek, what you talking about?
Oh, I gave it. I said it was A. I was serious.
Total A?
A.
Yeah, man. B minus.
Oh.
Things blew up, and but it's like it wasn't strange. It wasn't that new to me. I was just like, hey, show me more of the characters. Show me more of something I didn't know. It said new adventures, new worlds, new romances, and it seemed like people in the same colored shirts doing the same thing.
You want some of that strange, huh, Mr. Benja? From a new world. Hey, you want to hit it. They know what they doing. So, man, Mr. Benja, this is a fun episode, man. We've been going live, guys, and I think I'm liking it, Mr. Benja. It's looser. We still cover our points. We still got some stuff to work on, but yeah, we're gonna put it out there, edit it up, and get it back out to you guys. So, Mr. Benja, anything else going this week for you?
Not much, man. Gonna get hyped up on some more Japanese candy, and it's gonna be great.
Oh man, I love it, man. So get it right. All right, guys. Hey, thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, and comment at Show vs. Business on X, Threads, YouTube, and Instagram. Listen to us at Spotify, iTunes, wherever you listen to podcasts, and go visit us at our website, Show vs. Business. Mr. Benja, peace.